Good evening. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live Season 3, Episode 14, Zino 2 stability issues. We're going to talk about the Fimi X8 SE 2020 and some DJI news that you're definitely going to want to stick around for. Marcus, how are you this evening?
Doing really good, Bill. Man, I took the Zino 2 out today. I got all that new firmware installed and went out for a little flight. Did a waypoint mission with it, and it worked out really well. So yeah, more to talk about that in a little bit. Lauren, how about you?
Well, I'm exhausted. I've been dealing all day with the good old rumor mill, and I've had literally over 200 texts, emails, and phone calls. So yeah, little tired, but I'm here. How about you, Ron?
Well, I'm doing well. I haven't worked as hard as you, Lauren. Boy, that made text message. That sounds like a teenager or whatever, getting all, phone blowing up or whatever. But no, my phone hasn't. The only person texted me all day was my good buddy Michael over at Philly Drone Life, who we will be going live right after this show at 9 p.m. on the Philly Drone Life network of shows, his YouTube channel, whatever. But enough self-promotion. No, it wasn't a good day to fly here, but there was a good day otherwise. I actually did test out the new Fimi. I have the new Fimi already. This is the same joke from last night, and here it is, the Fimi Palm. I got a little more hands-on time with the new Fimi today, and I'll talk about that in the show if we get a chance. But Bill, was it a good day to fly in Florida today?
Well, yeah, it was actually, and for me, I'm doing my due diligence to help the supply chain, which it was kind of nice to hear some kudos to everyone in the supply chain, including those behind the scenes, which that would be me. My hats off to those who are any part of the supply chain, from the farmer to the cattle rancher to the grocery store clerk, everybody in between. Thank you for all you're doing. And it's an honor to help support, my company and my country in this time of need. It's a way of being able to serve my country. I just dropped a link in there, and what it is, and I found it very useful. It's COVID-19 projections assuming full social distancing through May 2020. Now, what it is you can break it down by your geographic area, and it's basically going to tell you when you're going to go over the peak as far as hospitals are concerned. So that is that's one of the websites they've been talking about. So I wanted to drop that in there, and it will be in the descriptions for you guys to check that out. And we're gonna close and talk about that. But we're here to talk about drones tonight, okay? I know a lot of you are tuning in to watch about drones, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spend most of the time talking about drones. Well, the Zino 2 has been a big hit, okay? And there has been another firmware update. So without any further ado, I'm going to have Mr. Ron Braun tell us about this firmware update, and then also tell us what he found in this firmware update. Ron, take it away.
Thank you, Bill. It was a rash of firmware updates for the Zino 2 last week. We had an app update about more than a week ago, the 1.15. We had a transmitter update, 1.13. And a controversial update to the aircraft of version 1.21, a version that many people never received. They only got 1.2.0, but I think Marcus will, in a minute, he'll talk about how to get the 1.1 or whatever. But anyhow, so some of these, the second transmitter update did not come until like Saturday. So I got a chance to test fly the drone twice on all this new firmware, and I had what I called the perfect hover Saturday. It took off on the beach in a little bit of breeze and hovered up there just like a DJI drone. But I know from my good buddy Marcus and other people online, that's not the experience of all the Zino 2 pilots with the updates. It seems like these drones, nobody's got the same drone. I think I'm quoting somebody here. No two Zino 2s are alike. And
how did it hover after you woke up?
Well, on Monday we hovered again, and it did quite hover as good, as it did on Saturday, but it was still pretty good. I'm going to tell you the Saturday, Lauren, Saturday's hovering. It hovered as good as the Mavic Mini, maybe better, on the same spot, same conditions, off the same landing pad. It may have did better than the Mavic Mini, but again, it was a tail 2 days here. It didn't do quite as good Monday. It went up and down a little bit, but side to side, it hung in. But that's not the real showstopper. The real showstopper is they've added YouTube streaming to it, just like the DJI drones have. They added GPS following, which it had the active track following before, but now they've added where it just follows the GPS built into the transmitter. So if you don't want to draw that thing or whatever, you're not worried about being centered in the middle of the frame. It'll follow you along, on your adventures, randomly filming whatever it's going to film. And I discovered a secret feature that I talked about last night that I tried to Google search it today and nobody's talking about yet. In the camera settings menu, they put in a new setting on the first set of camera menus. The second one from the bottom, they put in something 3 letters in RAW. I should have wrote this down. Say
SLN RAW. SLN RAW.
There you go. Marcus said it. And what it seems to do is, we all know RAW is a term usually usually put with photos. You take a RAW photo and it captures much more information than a JPEG. But you don't usually associate the term RAW with video. Maybe log video is sort of the video version of RAW. So, but you know how Hubsan, they kind of use words in context that most of us in the U.S. don't really use them. But anyhow, so I did half the flight without this RAW thing checked, and then I did this latter half with it checked, and it seemed to help with the overexposure image that the Hubsan camera has when it's like facing the sun. Not even directly the sun, just when it's getting a lot of light from the sun. Even if you're off kilter a little bit, it still kind of overwhelms the camera, and this seemed to balance it out a little better. And plus, it took when this happens under the normal settings, the ground is usually, so dark it's like in a shadow, and this kind of helped to balance the exposure on the ground, keeping the sky better exposed. Now, this wasn't perfect. I saw a ton of lens flare on this, maybe even more lens flare than the normal settings. So, this isn't perfect, but it could be a step in the right direction. But I'm very excited with this latest round of updates. And that's kind of and I got one more thing too. And I don't know if this was in there before. On my flight on Monday, I went to take off and I saw at the top of the screen where it gives the error messages, like it says calibrate the compass. It said, I don't know the exact wording, but it was telling me my battery wasn't latched in. It somehow let me know that it was the 2 latches on each side of the battery. One of them wasn't properly latched in. And sure enough, I picked it up and I pushed it forward, locked it in place. So it knows that the battery's not locked in completely or whatever, which I think I've seen that in other drones, but I've never seen it on a budget price drone before.
The Mavic 2s will do that, yeah.
Right, but I think that's not a budget price drone.
Not budget drones, no. That's real good for those.
Yeah.
So Marcus, you've done it as well. So it's once again a tale of 2 cities here. Why don't you pontificate about your experience?
Yeah. So I went and did the same updates today. So for the aircraft, it's 1.0.2, and for the remote control, it's 1.1.4, and both of them say that they were supposed to improve stability, and they kind of vaguely mentioned some camera stuff in there, but what they never tell you what it really does. So of course, what a lot of us are interested in, and I know Ron has had a pretty good hover on his, and I can tell you, if you put my Zino 2 and the Mavic Mini side by side, it isn't even a contest. That Mini will sit there like a rock. That Zino is moving around. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad drone. It's a good drone. I'm going to tell you one quick story from my flight today. I took it out over the grass, over the field, and when I came to the end of my line there, and I let go of the stick, I was about 6 feet off the ground. Let go of the stick. The drone went up to 24 feet, and then sank back down to about 3 feet. Now, what those bottom sensors are for on that drone, I have no idea. But at the end of the day, that really doesn't mean a thing, because how often are you flying that close to the ground? when you have that drone up in the air, you never even know that. So that is just kind of one of those things that's fun to test and so forth. Now, that said, that feature that Ron discovered, that SLN video, and Ron, I have kind of a theory on that I think that may be Hubsan's version of HDR. And Bill, I'm going to ask you for the screen here, and I'm going to play a section of it here. Well, hold. Hang on here, just 1 second. Sorry. All right, can you see my screen, Bill?
Not yet.
Okay, so I clicked share. So hang on.
You might have to decide what you're sharing.
Yeah. Well, I selected my entire screen because it wouldn't let me do application. So I've got my entire screen, and Bill, I think you have to let me share. I'm not sure. Ron has done it.
Technical difficulties, folks. Just hang in there. We will get these solved, and we will return to our regularly scheduled program.
Well, maybe we'll just have to try that another time, huh?
Okay. I don't know. I was hitting share screen on my end, but it's just for me. So
well, let me try it again, Bill. I'm gonna share screen again.
Folks, our IT.
There we go.
Our IT person must be off because they're quarantined because of the virus.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, there's some good looking video. Look at those mountains.
Yeah. So this is with that SLN RAW selected. And Ron, I got a theory. So what I've noticed here is that, you see the sky real well, and the ground is real vivid and everything. Could this be Hubsan's version of HDR?
I think you may be onto something there, Marcus.
It almost looks like it's a polarizing filter on there because it does a real good job.
So in fact, I like it so much. I don't know why I would fly in any other version. And so in fact, right here you can see I raised the camera so that it was half sky and half ground to really give it a chance to blow out the ground in it, and it's not doing it. And this was taken midday, so the sun is kind of directly up. And I was in sport mode there, so the minute I hit forward, it dropped the gimbal. But let me show you then in regular mode. So this is the difference. This is in regular mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that SLN looks a lot better. What do you guys?
Yeah.
think?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. No doubt.
Ron, this was a stellar find. You're going to make the Hubsan Hall of Fame right now for that.
Yep. Okay, so you guys have seen enough of that.
Definitely. That was wow.
Very impressive.
That was definitely going to
Laura, so impressed he left for a second.
Yeah.
I hit the button. Okay. Well, one of the things that I have to say, and I think I talked about it last night, is, and I think both Ron and Marcus mentioned it as well, is, Hubsan's been on top of stuff. And, from where the Zino 1 started to where it ended up, that's the whole reason I decided to get a Zino 2 from Ron and Marcus's experience in the updates they've done. And Hubsan has been really on top of things. And if this is their answer to, this, supposed lens flare issue, or giving us, something else, it's very noteworthy. And I think it's great. And Marcus, thank you for that video. That's going to be fantastic. When you do a video on that people are by the thousands are going to watch that. Literally. I mean, seriously.
And you saw it here first in the Build a Drone Reviewers show.
That's right. That's right.
Let me give credit where credit is due. Ron Brown is the guy that discovered it, and he is the guy that figured it. I probably wouldn't have ever even seen it if Ron hadn't have found it. So
while we're on conspiracy theories, you know what it was, Marcus? Hubsan was watching that show we did last week where we were talking about the new Fimi X8 2020. And remember, we were talking about how, you know, the new Fimi has HDR. We were saying, well, you got to either choose whether you want 4K 60 with the Zino 2 or you want 4K 30 with HDR for the Fimi. You know, it's always a choice. But now, so Hubsan said, oh, you know, Marcus and Ron are right. We're going to throw HDR. We're going to have them both.
That's it. I bet you're right, Ron.
It could be right, Ron. You know, you were the master at this.
What's the guy's name that runs Hubsan? Sam Lee. Sam Lee was watching.
Sam Lee was watching. There you go.
That's why Ron Brown gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to cash a stack of checks. You know, right as soon as the show's over.
Sam Lee said, hold my beer to the owner of Xiaomi. Okay. He says, hold my beer here. Okay. We're gonna up you one on this. And
what's the DJI guy? What's the owner or the
Frank Wang?
He probably even called Frank Wang up and said, hey, I'm coming for you, brother.
This is fun.
I'll be coming for you, especially when DJI leaves the U.S.
We're going to be talking about that just
later on, folks. Just hold on.
That's later on. Okay, that is coming up here.
In the business, they call that a teaser.
That's a teaser. Okay, Ron's pretty good with that. So, and good with the teasing too. What we're going to talk about now is, and it's actually my video on it is actually doing real well. We're going to talk about the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Now, I know Ron and Marcus did a special show. I think it was over the weekend about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at, and Marcus is holding up his Fimi X8 SE, the 2018 version. So we're going to take a look. Banggood listed a comparison chart, which was fantastic out there. So we're going to take a look at some of these things. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it and see, you know, because one of the big question I've been getting in my video was, is this a drone that we should consider kind of a thing? You know, are the upgrades worth it? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead and get that up here. All right. Now, this is the first screen that what it does is it's basically comparing again the 2020 version of the aircraft itself against the 2018 version. And the notable things here, almost everything is the same. You're seeing a difference in flight time of 2 minutes. Okay. And the weight is something else that has changed that I noticed on this as well. The 2018 is 790 grams. This is 765. The other thing that I noticed on here too was the satellite positioning systems. It lists GPS plus GLONASS plus BEI DUO. And then on the 2018 version, it's GPS plus GLONASS. I have no idea what this is, this BEI DUO. It could be their version of Lease 2 like it's on the Hubsan. It could be their version of OcuSync. Maybe that's why they have the increased range. We don't know. But this is
a B&D in there. Maybe that could be the Build a Drone Reviewer satellite network.
It could be. It could be.
I think it's the Chinese version of GPS.
Okay.
Is what that is.
All right. We're going to go ahead and look at the next one here. This is a remote controller, and really it's about the same. There's really no differences here at all. I'm going to go ahead. We'll move to the next one here. The gimbal, there was no differences listed. And then we're going to go ahead. This is where we're going to spend some time here because with the camera system, there seems to be quite a bit of difference here. The lens, the field of view, 80 degrees on the 2020 version, 78.8 degrees on the 2018 version. Does 2 degrees or 1.2 degrees field of vision more make that much of a difference in a camera, gentlemen? What do you think?
You won't even notice it, is my opinion.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, for that, I mean, you know, it looks good, but okay. Well, the aperture listed on the 2020 version is f2.0, and the aperture on the 2018 is f2.2. Again, what do you guys think?
Well, that will make a difference. Any wider aperture. Sorry. It'll let in more light, so that will help. That's a good thing.
Okay. All right. Focal distance 3.54 millimeters, and on the 2018 version 4.73 millimeters. What do you guys think on that?
I'm confused with this. Yeah, I think these numbers are kind of, you know, like in my mind, I'm kind of dyslexic, it's kind of reverse. I guess what they're trying to say in here is this one will have a greater focal distance, even though the number is lower. Which
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
have I have trouble getting my head around that concept. But I think that's what they're trying to say, that it'll have better focal distance. You know, that'd be able to focus on a subject at a longer distance than the current one. If that makes sense.
I think you're right on that.
Photographers in the audience.
Now that sensor is a little different. It's 1/2.6. And then the old one was 1/2.3. So
Marcus could talk to this. We crunched the numbers on this the other night, so Marcus can talk.
Go for it, Marcus.
Well, Ron and I had we just did a little investigation to it because it was confusing to us, right? We saw a comment where a gentleman said that, hey, that new sensor was going to be smaller, and we're looking at that and go, well, 2.6 is bigger than 2.3, but no, in photographic terms, it is not. That is a fractionally smaller sensor on the 2020 version. We looked it up online, and they talked about it. Now, as Ron said, that doesn't necessarily mean it's worse. A bigger sensor typically is better, right? But it's also the quality of that sensor. So I cannot believe that Fimi would intentionally take a step back. So I have to believe that it probably is a better quality sensor than what they had on the 2018 version. Ron, what's your take?
Well, this is just a total theory what I'm saying here, but even though we're getting a slightly smaller sensor this time, and the smaller the sensor, the less light you would let in, but with the increase in the aperture, with going down a couple ticks there, the f2.0, that will let more light in. So maybe that'll just balance out even. That we'll still be able to capture the same amount of light because we have got a wider aperture lens and a slightly smaller sensor. Again, is all theory on my part. I don't know if anything I'm saying is going to bear out in actual testing.
Yeah, we're spitballing. No doubt.
Yeah, and that's because these differences aren't large, but there are some differences. Now the shutter speed, it has 32-1/8000 s, and then on the 2018 version, it's 8-1/8000 s. I don't know enough about this. What do you guys know about this?
Well, basically that shutter speed is you can do a longer exposure with that one.
Okay.
On the 2021, just want to get back onto the sensor thing a little bit. Sensor size is not necessarily everything. It all depends on your pixel size that are on the sensor, because the larger the pixel is that's on the sensor, the more sensitive it's going to be for light and better for the, especially for the low light performance. I can surmise, and just like Bill said, kind of spitballing, but I think the only reason you're getting a better picture is through the programming, the firmware that's on there, because realistically that sensor should not perform as well because of the smaller size. Looking at the other specs that they're kind of comparing back and forth, I think realistically they're doing it all in firmware.
That's a good point, because
but before we go on too far, many people out on the internet have already speculated that this is a completely new camera than the other camera. This isn't any type of just like a upgrade to the camera. This is a completely new camera we're going to get on the 2020. That's speculation, but it does make sense that this isn't even the same camera.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Ron and Lauren, because take a look at the video resolution. There's more options for video resolution on a 2020 than there is on the 2018, and that's always a good thing, because you can adjust it to if the environment you're flying in, whether it's sunny day, cloudy day, whatever you're going to be shooting, you can adjust that resolution to be able to suit your need. And I like it. It gives you a lot of options. And anytime you have options as far as choosing a resolution is concerned, I think that's pretty great. Because, and obviously too, if you want to go out there, and I'll talk about this, and then I'll get your feedback. The memory card, it'll take now up to a 256 gig on the 2020, whereas on the 2018 it took a 64 gig. So with all this being said, it's probably a new camera. I would have a tendency to agree with that, guys. And I think Lauren's right too. I think a lot of this is driven by software, not by the camera. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. I know software makes a huge difference. I mean, obviously we saw that with the original Hubsan Zino, how they improved that with just simply software improvements. So I'd say that's probably true. But I also, I'm thinking like Ron says, I think it's a completely new camera. They're talking about a different chipset and everything for it. So I don't even think it's the same camera as on the 2018 version. And time will tell.
Okay, and this is just the charger, battery, propeller, other parameters. It's the same as the other version. This really hasn't changed. But here's the interesting one, and it talks about the features. And one thing this 30-meter optical flow positioning. The latest positioning system utilizes a downside camera to keep the drone stability hovering at up to 30 meters, even without GPS, which is interesting. And it talks about HDR video and photo. A lot of these are the same, but then you look flight times up to 35 minutes and then the 8-kilometer range. So, with all this being said, and one of the other things that I found, and I think I have it up on the next screen here. Okay, that's the coupon code, which I will post in a link in the video. Okay, I don't have that here. But one of the other things that, and this is the article that I'm giving you guys a sneak peek here. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the screen share. What are your guys' thoughts? Because I had a lot of people asking me, why should I consider this? First of all, okay, if you have a 2018, okay, and I know, and I'll make an exception, with the exception of Marcus here, okay. If you have a 2018, this is probably not a drone for you. Am I right, guys?
I agree with you, Bill. Even though I ordered one
for testing purposes only.
No, I'm a nerd, right? I'm a drone nerd, and I just wanted one. But you're absolutely correct. For the average person, it's not a big enough improvement to make it worth spending that money, I would think.
Yeah. And now what about for someone who doesn't have a Fimi X8 SE right now?
It's a steal right now. It's an absolute steal.
Kind of price, at the kind of price that I just put up there for $347, it's like you better run, and you better run quick. There will be a link in the description, and I'll also make sure that coupon code is down there as well if you're interested in ordering it. I mean, when my money situation finally levels out, because I've been ordering a lot of supplies for the house, that's when I'm going to be, my due diligence with the buy button in securing one of these guys. I mean, it's for what you get for the drone. Okay. It's a exceedingly good value. And I talked a little bit about this last night on ZinoNation, and I hope you guys, if you guys haven't watched replays, watch the replay from last night. It's a great show last night. One of the things that I brought up last night was, how we say, Autel and DJI, the competition is good for each other. Well, I think the competition between Hubsan and Xiaomi is a good thing as well too, because don't think that they don't compete against one another. Okay. Xiaomi puts out some decent products. Okay. I know the A3 wasn't probably one of their better ones as far as a drone concerned. I know Marcus can pontificate about that for a couple of hours, but this X8 is really something that I think is worthy of people noting. I know there were some people that early on there were some issues, and I know Marcus had an issue when he got his, and he just about lost his sanity when that happened. But all was well, and overall, it's been a good quality drone. I mean, as far as that's concerned, what are you guys' thoughts?
Let me tell you, Bill. So the Fimi X8 SE, obviously, my first experience with it was not a good one, with the propeller disintegrating and a crash. But after that, it was similar to Hubsan in the way, man, they kept pushing the firmware upgrades, and the drone improved, and it got to be that it was one of my go-to drones. And then I sent it off on a little field trip across the nation, and Ron ended up with it for a little while. And I'd be flying it right now, but except I have a stress crack in one of the arms that I need to get fixed up.
I was flying it too wild here in New Jersey.
No, you were just fine. I think that is a problem that is inherent in the Fimi X8 SE. And if you own one, you better be inspecting the arms as you go along. So I bought a new arm for it, and I'm going to get it repaired. And Bill, to your point, what I'm looking forward to doing is having the 2018 version and the 2020 version side by side.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And we can answer a lot of these questions, right? We'll take a look at.
Oh yeah, especially when you the proof will be when you put your 2018 version video on one side and your 2020 version. I mean, there's going to be the proof right there, and we'll see that. And I think the other thing, because I know both Ron and Marcus have mentioned this, it doesn't lose. It's not a question of losing signal as far as the range is concerned, but there is a question a lot of that FPV kind of fades out after so long. And I know Ron found that to be the case when he was flying, when Marcus gave him his to fly. Is that right, Ron?
Well, I mean, it's not that you lose the FPV; it just goes real low resolution. Where it's this is probably the mean thing, but it's so low resolution you don't think you're getting good video because it looks like it's real low standard definition video. It's not that it's good; it goes away. It gets real low res quickly.
Yeah, and hopefully that's another thing that we can find out as far as that's concerned. Because from the quality that I've seen, from Ron's videos and from Marcus's videos, they look great from the Fimi X8 SE. So we're going to kind of wrap this segment up, but there will be a link in the description, and there will be a coupon code. It's $347, guys. I mean, it's really a steal. It's something you definitely should take a look at. All right. Now we're going to talk about DJI news, and boy, what news! Let me tell you this, okay? Lauren is tired tonight, all right, and there's a reason he's tired. We're going to get to that here in just a quick second. Let me go ahead and share the screen here, and do it right this time.
Oh boy,
there we go. All right, now let's go ahead and drop the chat out here. Okay. This article, and it's in SUAS News, is DJI leaving the U.S., okay?
Say it ain't so, Bill.
Say it ain't so, Ron. It's okay.
It ain't so.
And with that, I know Lauren has spent most of his day on that, okay? And he really is tired because he's had numerous texts and messages and everything. Lauren, I'm going to let you kind of drive this for a little bit here, and then we'll kind of interject. We know it's not so, but kind of enlighten us here a little bit, and maybe this will get out to a lot of people so you can stop getting texts all hours of the day and night.
Yeah,
please don't text Lauren.
Yes, thank you. What happened was, I don't even know where to start, but DJI made some business decisions, and it's no big shock to anybody literally in the world that every country's economies have been affected by the coronavirus. And so that's no real big shock. And is any company that wants to survive beyond a week, sometimes you have to make business decisions. And at this particular time, DJI made a few business decisions. One of those being that they decided to do a little bit of restructuring and stuff. So that started part of the rumor mill going. And it was just simple restructuring. And then the other thing was, because of the downturn in the economy, some of the dealers that used to have financial terms with DJI, things like Net30, some of the dealers that were having problems even paying their bills at Net30, DJI cut them off their terms. And basically, if you, as a dealer, if you made your order, you had to prepay for your order up front. And that kind of upset a few people. And with DJI, there's a DJI dealers network where dealers can talk to one another and stuff like that. And so the grumblings went on there until finally, I guess somebody decided they were going to go public with their thoughts on what they figured was happening, whether it's fact or fiction. They decided that they were going to go public with it. And from that point forward, one publication did decide to pick it up and took everything the person said as gospel. And of course, when one publication does it, then the next publication picks it up. And, it's the old gossip game. So it is absolutely, I can tell you 100% not true. They are making business decisions at DJI, but that's to be expected with any business, whether you're, starting out or a 100-year-old company. Some of them are not going to be popular, but if they don't make these decisions, then they will not, they'll not be around to do business in the future. I've seen a few people have mentioned on here tonight, they wanted to know about the Mavic Air 2. I can tell you with pretty much certainty to not expect that in the near future. There was plans to release it in the first half, actually more specifically in May or June of this year. It now looks like that's going to be held off. It's not because of any financial reasoning for DJI other than why have a party if nobody's going to show up? And by that, there's a lot of people that are going to be very mindful of their pennies. There's a lot of people who have lost their jobs. There's a lot of people who have got a lot of financial insecurity at the time. And right now, buying a new drone would be, shall we say, the furthest thing on their mind. So that's not DJI's fashion. They like to, make a big splash and sell 10,000 drones in the first month and things like that. So for them to release a new drone right now when the sales figures on the current drones is actually still pretty good. So it doesn't really make much sense when there's too much consumer uncertainty. The enterprise stuff is still selling the same. There's been no real change in the sales in that. It's just the consumer stuff. So I can see DJI releasing the Mavic Air 2, or as I'm just calling it now, as just the Mavic, because I think they're going to rename it as well. But I can see that being released for the Christmas shopping season. Before that, not likely.
And everything you said makes sense, Lauren. I mean, it's we face something, and we'll talk about this at the end of the show. But we face something nobody's ever faced before. Nobody alive has ever faced this before. It's astronomical, and the economic impact is going to hit everybody. I mean, it's just not physical. It's economic, and it's really tough. And And I think DJI is very wise in making their decision. And, North America to DJI, it's like, why would they cut off one of their best income streams in the world from that? It's not going to happen. Okay. Somebody like Lawrence, somebody ran with this and just, DJI is making some business decisions and trying to help themselves out, which you don't blame them. Companies are they're fighting to survive right now. I mean, a lot of these companies, might not be around if they don't make the right kind of business decisions. And I think DJI is doing that right now. And, for instance, a business decision of, winning for the DJI Mavic or Mavic Air 2 or whatever it's going to be called till the holidays, till Christmas season. That may be a fantastic decision because, by then, hopefully the economy will have kickstarted. We'll be back in gear. We'll be looking for something to kind of bolster our spirits up. And, by then we'll have some more nickels and dimes. I mean, guys, what do you think?
Well, Bill, first, are you hinting at what you're going to get me for Christmas?
Yeah, I just hit that buy button, Marcus, and it'll be off to Idaho. I have your address.
Hey, Marcus, have you got a new Corvette under the Christmas tree?
Hey,
there's a new one out. There's a new one out, right, Marcus?
It could happen probably in the next year or two. You never know. You never know.
So you didn't drop a hint with Sarah to maybe have it sitting in your driveway Christmas morning?
That's a great idea.
See, what are friends for?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
I know she'll probably chop me off at the neck for saying that.
Yeah, no, if it makes me happy, she's happy, just like your wife, Bill.
Absolutely.
Hey, Bill, after what Marcus said in these comments here, I got to ask you, you got to be Bill, the drone advisor hat here. Now, the money I've been putting aside for the new Mavic, now should I push that pile of money towards the Autel Evo, or should I push it towards the Fimi 2020?
Ron, I would push it towards the 2020. I mean, you'll have it in hand in May, hopefully.
Well, the Evo was going to be released at the end of March, so I should be able to get it right now in a couple of days, right?
Well, some people have actually gotten their Evos already. I've heard some.
Wait, Bubby, do we know anybody personally who's ordered an Evo 2 and received it?
No, I don't, because
okay.
we
know a lot of drone people, right? Hey, one thing you could say about us, we know the people that have drones.
Okay, I can tell you this, my good friend Ken Dono. Okay, if the Evo 2 is out, there'd be a video out. Okay,
Mr. Evo,
that's right. Ken, hope you're doing well and staying safe. But yeah, and well, you know what Ken says when you buy a drone, okay? It's just like you can sleep on the couch and ask for forgiveness later. Okay, that's his tagline. Yeah, he needs to have a hashtag for that. I mean, that's definitely his tagline.
You know what the real truth probably is, Bill?
What's that?
He's got a wife just like you or mine. If it makes him happy, she's happy too. I guess.
Yeah. Oh, and I know he's told me. Well, and his wife is just like that. She's fantastic. We went out to dinner around Christmas time together, and and that's the thing. Here for each other, kind of a thing, and I think that's fantastic. Just to kind of maybe wrap this segment up here. It's so easy to see how rumors spread, okay? And Lauren can attest to that. I mean, it was just, it's just like somebody poured gasoline on a fire, and it just kind of like went all over, and SUAS News is picking it up, and, and it's out there. And people think, and see, here's the thing, all right? When you see an article, whatever news source, whatever, people think it's true, okay? Until, somebody comes along and says, well, you know what? That's not the real story. Here's the real story, and you find some credible people, okay, to say that, and that's why I like Lauren, because you know what, Lauren doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He says it like it is, okay. It's right where it is, And Lauren, if I could send your favorite adult beverage tonight, I would, okay. for the kind of day that you had.
Well, you know, it's especially bad when they don't even go and check sources. It's just taken as fact. Like Brendan Schulman today, you know, I don't know if you guys are aware of who he is, but you know, Vice President of Policy and Legal Affairs for DJI, he's flat out said no, that it's all horse puckies, you know. I'm trying to be politically correct here, folks. But as you say, I like to call it as it is. But I'm biting my tongue.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and as it should be, okay, because you know the last thing we need right now, okay, is, you know, I try to focus right now on some good things, okay, because you know this show tonight is an escape for all of us, all right, and focusing on that instead of the negative, and that's a negative, okay, and you know what? I don't think, you know, I won't say I don't think, I know, you know, Frank Wang, he's a step ahead of the game. All right. He's always a step ahead of the curve. And, you know, they're really with it as far as a business model is concerned with DJI, and they have to make business decisions. A lot of companies are going to have to do that. And, you know, they made a business decision here. And just because of that, it's like, and then you see, it's just like a mushroom cloud and it just goes off.
That and the other thing is, you know, there's so much speculation because everybody's expecting DJI to drop out the new Air 2, right? And so, you know, everybody's mind is wondering, oh, they're not releasing a drone. They're not releasing a drone. They must be in trouble, right?
Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah. Again, you know, the same thing here. You know, it's like, you know, and I can probably, if I'm a betting man, you know, they probably have warehouses of them already. Okay, ready to go.
Yeah. Well, Bill, the same sources that say that DJI's leaving the U.S. are also saying that the new Mavic Air 2, it's coming out soon. It's the only chance for them to save the company.
Oh yeah, it's like
of the Mavic Air 2. If that doesn't do well, DJI's, you know, shutting down.
Yeah, you know, it's like, woe is me. You know, we're all, you know, it's going to be the end of the world here, and it's not. All right, it really isn't. I'm taking a look here. I'm looking at Brendan Schulman. I'm looking at his Twitter, see if there's anything on there. I'm not seeing anything.
Check with Sam Lee, see if Hubsan's leaving the U.S. also.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So let's put this into perspective here.
Okay.
So if DJI is in trouble, Ron, you nailed it. What the heck do you think would happen to Hubsan and Fimi and all these other little eSheen and all these other little dumb little drone makers that are out there? If DJI can't make it, they're all done.
Well, guess what, Marcus? I'm writing an article in my blog tomorrow, and I'm going to say that this is a bad thing because when DJI leaves, you know, Hubsan's going to come out with the Zino 3. It's going to be just as good as the DJI drones, and they're going to come to the U.S. and we're going to be all good, and we're going to save a ton of money too. So, you know, that's my article, and it's based on exactly zero facts.
So exactly. so is GoPro going out of business too? I mean,
no, they're going to build a drone. It's better than DJI drones too, and they're going to stay in America. That's another article that I write based on the zero facts.
No, see, that's what it's all about, zero facts. So, you know, we got some time
that's
here.
The name of my blog, Zero Facts.
Well, can you share my screen for a sec?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
I hope everybody was listening to Ron's last remark.
Yes, actually, I did. That was great.
Drone Dog's been after me here, you know, about...
he's been on Lauren hard.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you have a look, are you familiar with Drone XL? I'm not sure if you are. Drone XL is actually now Haya Castellu's new publication. He's left Drone DJ, and probably one of the most credible writers in the drone industry in North America. And I can tell you right now that he is of the same opinion, and he's talked to I know for a fact he's talked to some of the same people as I have. So, like I say, it's not just me that's saying this. It's other credible sources as well. So I hope that answers your question.
That's fantastic, Lauren. Could you drop a link in the chat for that article? I think people would like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was great response, Lauren. I think that is exactly right. I mean, yeah. That's
perfect. That is absolutely perfect. So one of the things I want to do here is I want to spend the last 10 minutes here and kind of go around and, get some closing thoughts together. And, we spent most of the show, just kind of like, the elephants in the room, and we kind of push the elephant aside for a while. But, I want to go ahead and, let Marcus and Ron and Lauren kind of pontificate and share their thoughts here. And take your time, guys. And I'm going to share a special video clip here at the end when you guys are done. So take it away, Marcus.
Okay, thank you, Bill. So yeah, hey, listen, we're all in the middle of this COVID-19 thing, and it is no fun. And Lauren touched on it, and Bill touched on it, and Ron touched on it. Listen, there are people that are in serious trouble now, not just medically, but financially. They don't know how they're going to pay their rent next month, et cetera, et cetera. So it is incumbent upon all of us to take care of each other and be nice to each other. When you're tempted to flame somebody online or somebody cuts you off on the freeway, let them have that lane. Let's all call your neighbor, make sure your neighbor has what they need. Let's everybody kind of take care of each other. And further, I don't know about every state of the union, but here in Idaho, our governor is allowing us to go outside as long as we maintain social distancing. And they very specifically say near to home. Well, I'm fortunate that I've got a park, a school grounds actually, that's about a block and a half from my house. So I'm still able to fly. So I took the Zino 2 up today and had a nice flight with it. Tried out waypoint mission and stuff. And I know you guys feel the same way, but there's nothing that puts me in a better mood than going out and flying a drone. So, let's kind of focus on those things, and let's keep everybody's spirit up and do the best we can. And Mr. Ron Brown.
Well said, Marcus. I want to thank you for all those thoughts, and I'm going to second them or ditto them. I couldn't have said it any better. I'm going to go another direction here and give us first, I want to thank Lauren for coming on the show tonight and debunking a bunch of rumors out there that that were probably unsubstantiated or whatever, and he put a lot of people's fears at rest, which I think is a good thing. It's like you guys said, in these trying times, we don't need to be worrying about I won't even say the words I was going to say, but misinformation or whatever. So thank you, Lauren. And I also want to mention a drone I don't think we talked about it all. Somebody said in chat, the Skydio 2 just got an update in the last couple of days. It was only for Android for the past couple of days, but this morning it went live for iOS. So go, fire up your Zino 2, go into your settings, look for the update. It's there. It's not the showstopper everybody was looking for with the increased range or whatever, but it's got, a lot of bug fixes. I know Bill Thomas has already tested out, and he reports good information. Speaking of Bill Thomas, drop by Coast to Coast Drones Drone Therapy tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Drone Sensi's on. They're going to talk about Hitman films and all the effects you could do, whatever. Should be a great show. And I'm going to check out I'm going to have videos up soon on the new Fimi, not the new Fimi 2020, but the Fimi Palm camera, which looks a lot like a camera you may know by a company with 3 letters in the title that we talked about tonight. But so far so good on this. I still have a lot more testing to do, and I'm going to throw it over to Lauren.
Okay. I guess the biggest thing I got to say is if you think today's story is outrageous, you ain't seen nothing yet. I really hate to say it, but realistically, in the drone business, everything is slow. You know, there are some stuff coming out, but there's nothing that's really earth-shattering and nothing that's going to reach out and grab you and really grab your attention too much. Okay, there is some stuff, but and when that happens, you're going to have publications that need to write something. And if you've been watching any of the publications recently, you'll see that the probably 90% of the drone articles are all about the COVID, right? And rightfully so. It's a worldwide pandemic, but that's really all they have to write about. From one of the groups that I run, which is Drones for Good International, that's, we've been publishing regularly all the good stories, and we've had so much to choose from because that's what all the big publications are writing about. There is some good news and stuff on commercial developments out in Europe. Don't know if anybody was aware, but today was the first actual commercial delivery of insulin by drone done over in Ireland. It happened today. But the thing being is, that's kind of newsworthy, but there's not really that much happening. So they're writing about, all the COVID stuff. And once they run out of those stories, then they're going to be grasping at straws for just about anything and everything. So take everything with a grain of salt. Double check, triple check your sources. And before I say anything live, especially like on here, I can guarantee you I've double, tripled, quadruple checked my sources, because if I'm wrong, then it makes me look bad, and I don't like looking bad. So, but anyways, that being said, everybody stay strong.
You for that.
And as Marcus had said, a little bit of tolerance and a little bit of patience with people. You haven't got any idea of what that person is going through. They could have lost their job because of the COVID, and they're upset. So you might be very fortunate that you haven't been overly affected. Everybody will be affected, but just a little bit of patience with everybody, and we'll all come through it together.
Well said, Lauren and Ron and Marcus. First of all, I'd like to start off with a little bit of humor here in my closing, okay? And I found this, and now if you grew up back in the day, okay, you probably remember the Bee Gees, okay? Who doesn't remember the Bee Gees, okay? And guess what? I actually saw them in concert, okay? I don't know if I want to say I'm proud of that or not, but anyway, okay. This group did a song, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and it'll be in the description. It's called "Stayin' Inside," Coronavirus Bee Gees parody. And I can't play it because I could get a copyright strike. I don't want to do that. But I'm going to drop a link, and you guys need to watch it. It is absolutely hilarious. But it makes a good point. Now, I don't know if you guys have taken a look and seen my hashtag. I changed my hashtag tonight. And my hashtag down there, I'm trying to point my finger there, down there says "Stay inside, stay alive." One of the things that I can't say enough is now's not a time to be gallivanting around, okay? Do your business, get home, and stay home right now. I mean, that's paramount, and it's working. And I think that's one of the things. We're seeing some encouraging signs here. So number one, my first message is to be encouraged here. Okay. There's a lot of talk about hydroxychloroquine and some other drugs that are showing a lot of promise right now. And it's a drug that's already been out there, and it's been used to treat malaria for years. The only known side effect is diarrhea from that. Okay. It's like, would I rather have COVID-19 or get rid of it and have a little bit of diarrhea? You make the obvious choice here. One of the other sobering things is, and this is why you don't even want to think about getting it, because, and Marcus can attest to it, being on a ventilator is not a picnic. All right. I know my dad was after he had open heart surgery. Marcus can attest to that. And one of the other things that they're saying now, even if you do survive COVID-19, if you're going through a bout of it, you could have permanent heart damage. So yeah, it's just you want to avoid this at all costs. The other thing I want to say is this: I'm proud of our supply chain here in the United States. I can't speak for other countries, but I'll speak for the United States, and that starts with the farmers that farms, the cattlemen. That starts with also the truck drivers, meat processing plants, and food distribution centers, and ultimately grocery stores. Okay, I can't be more proud to be a part of this industry. I mean, I don't serve on the front lines, but I think of my brothers and sisters here at Publix who are in the stores every day, who are cleaning the stores every day, who are cashiers. And literally, it's like, they're having to be so careful every day with things. But what they're doing is they're keeping our country going. And, I have to say, the vice president called everyone who is in that industry out tonight is you're right underneath the frontline workers. And we all know who the frontline workers are. And I'm going to thank all the nurses, all the doctors, but also think of people, all the techs, all the phlebotomists, all the X-ray technicians, and all the ones who help make up the medical field right now. They're all at risk. They're all exposing themselves, and they all have loved ones. So keep them in your thoughts and in your prayers. Okay. And one of the things I'm going to do is this, and I got to agree with Marcus here, and I know Lauren and Ron have kind of spoken to it as well. Guys, the petty childishness that you see, there's no time for that. Okay. Literally. Okay. It's when you see people who are, hitting, doing massive dislikes on videos, or, going out there and throwing flame comments out there and everything. Okay. There's no time for this right now. Okay. And I'm going to put this in perspective here. And this is what I'm going to kind of close with. And I'll have a thought after I play this. And Lauren, deepest sympathies on the loss of your friend. I know that was hard for you. And right after I found that out that night, I found out I lost a friend from college, and it was a very good friend. And if you've watched the news lately, you may have seen this clip. Now I'm going to play this clip from Facebook, so there won't be any issues on it. My friend was from college, and I knew him. And I want to say this: he was a pastor at a church. He was the most real person I think I've ever met in my life. Okay, he didn't dislike anybody ever. People that made fun of him, never. Okay, he was all about doing good. He was all about love thy neighbor. Okay, he exemplified that, and he lived Mr. Rogers' 3 statements: be kind, and be kind. Okay, and that was how he got ahead. Well, I'm about to play a clip, and then I'll talk about the clip, and then we'll close. That's in memory of my friend, Pastor Tim Russell. I usually close with "It's a great day to fly," but my hashtag now is going to be what I'm going to be closing with until we can get through this. And my hashtag and what I'm going to say is stay inside and stay alive. Everyone be safe out there. Our thoughts and prayers are with you all. please be safe. And we want to see you here next week for Rotor Talk Live. Till then, have a great week, and please be safe.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us.